What's going on, you guys? My name is Section 8 Sal, and today we're going to be talking about regular rental properties versus Section 8 rental properties. If you can't tell by my name, I'm a big supporter of renting properties to Section 8 voucher holder tenants. I've been doing this for nearly a decade, and oftentimes I hear people comparing regular rental properties or out-of-pocket paying tenants versus buying rental properties to rent to Section 8 voucher holder tenants. The first thing that comes to mind when I start comparing the two is your cash-on-cash returns. So all over the internet, if you type in rental properties, you're gonna see what they call the 1% rule. So a lot of real estate investors will do their calculations on a property based off of this rule of thumb, okay? What they're saying is, if you buy a rental property for $100,000, or actually, let's say $200,000, because I know a lot of people on the internet, a lot of people in this country seem to think that you can't buy a property for under $200,000 these days. So let's say you buy it for $200,000. In some of these investors' minds, a lot of them, they're going to say, okay, if this property can rent for $2,000 a month, which is 1% of that purchase price, this is a deal that's worth looking at and potentially buying, right? That is the 1% rule. The 1% rule
is fucking trash.
Do not buy based off of the 1% rule, okay? Buying for the 1% rule will leave you broke and leave you wanting to sell that property and wishing you never bought real estate, okay? Unless somehow you get lucky and it goes up in value because of the gods above making you get lucky, right? You're gonna bleed out, okay? Dumb and dumber, the dumbest thing I could ever think of, okay? So don't do that. Right. The reason I say don't do that is because if you really look at that 1% rule, they're likely making a single digit, even a lower single digit cash on cash return. And when I say cash on cash return, I'm referring to the money you put into the deal versus the money you get back in that same year. Okay. So if I put up $20,000 as my down payment and closing costs and everything out of pocket into a deal, to get 10%, I would need to make $2,000 that year. Okay, that would be a miracle if you get $2,000 or 10% on that deal, basing your purchase off the 1% rule. When we're buying Section 8 rental properties, specifically in the markets that we buy in and the markets that you could and should be buying in, we look at a floor of a return of 20%. That is the floor. I can tell you and give you example after example after example of us getting 50% cash on cash returns if you find the right deals. A lot of people are going to comment or chime in and say that's bullshit. I personally guarantee it, and we can go back deal by deal as far back as you want. If you put your money where your mouth is and you want to challenge me on it, I can show you 10 plus examples where I've bought in rental properties and gotten 50% cash on cash returns. Is this common now, today? No. Is this very hard to achieve today? Yes. But I promise you the floor of the deals we're looking at are a 20% cash on cash return. And that's just from the cash flow. Because what a lot of people will say as well when they're comparing regular properties to Section 8 properties is, well, you're buying these Section 8 properties in areas where you don't get appreciation, right? First off, if you're buying a rental property just for appreciation, I see gurus talk about it all the time online, and keep in mind, I'm a duru, not a guru, okay? Keep that in mind with you. These gurus that talk about rental properties online when they're actually wholesalers or fix and flippers, right? Completely different mindsets, by the way. When they talk about appreciation, they're guessing. Don't let them fool you. They're completely guessing, okay? They have no fucking idea if it's going to go up in value or down in value. They don't know. They're speculating. And of course, there is some speculation you need to account for in real estate. But the reality is, unless they're a genie, unless they're the Lord above, or unless they have a crystal motherfucking ball, they don't know, okay? But I can tell you facts, and the facts are this. My Section 8 real estate portfolio, or my real estate portfolio in general, which is roughly 75% Section 8 for up to me to be 100%, has gone up nearly 60% in value from the time I purchased the properties I bought. Now, of course, I've gotten discounts on these properties, but I'm just talking about the increase from my cost basis of what I bought it at versus what they're worth today, okay? I have not bought in A-grade areas. I have not even bought in B-grade areas. I've bought in C and D neighborhoods from the time I started nearly 10 years ago. And my properties, in fact, have appreciated. So I get the appreciation, I get the tax benefits, I get the principal pay down, I get all of those things, but more importantly, I get quadruple the cash flow as these regular rental properties will get you. That's number one. Let's talk about the tenant mix, okay? A Section 8 voucher holder tenant, this is actual statistics, by the way, you can Google this, will stay in a single family home on average over 7.5 years. That stat alone should make your ears perk up as a potential landlord, right? Because the number one killer of profit in your real estate business as a landlord is vacancy. Vacancy will kill you. Vacancy will add expenses to your bottom line that you might not be able to afford. Vacancy is a dirty word in my business. We don't want it. So that alone should make you certainly consider renting Section 8. Because if we think about it on a common sense level, Section 8 voucher holder tenants are extremely low income. Okay, that's the definition of the program. This program is designed to help extremely low income families. Okay, out-of-pocket paying tenants are not extremely low income. What does that mean? If we make it really simple, they have more options, right? They might want to move to an upgrade, to a better house. They might want to buy a house. There's so many more factors that will happen within that family's financial dynamic to make them want to move. When you provide a quality product to a voucher holder tenant, they don't want to leave, right? And I stress quality because our houses that we provide are quality. We want our tenants to be happy, to be comfortable, and to stay a very, very, very long time, right? Minimizing vacancy will make you more profitable. Another reason we like Section 8. Acquisition price. As I said in the beginning of this video, a lot of people think it's bullshit. They think it's fugazi, it's fake, it's this, it's that. When I tell them that we can buy houses for $80,000, right? It is January 11th, 2025, and I bought a house last week for $60,000. Okay, it might have needed $5,000 worth of work. Now that's an anomaly. That does not happen every day. But what I'm telling you is we can certainly buy houses for under $100,000 every single day. We can do this by buying on market. You have access to all these deals, right? On Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, whatever, Redfin. You can find these deals. You don't need to be going direct to seller. You don't need to be spending all these marketing dollars. Get a good realtor. Get a good realtor. And you can find these deals. We can find them on market, off market, everywhere in between. They exist. Where the average price of a home right now, I think, is nearly $300,000 in America. Maybe more even right now. If you take the average, I didn't look at the statistic. We'll add it on the screen, whatever the average is. When you're buying a regular rental property, just by simple economics here, if we look at the average price of a piece of property, it's nearly $300,000 or more today, right? Where our price is under $100,000, okay? Big, big, big difference. Just to put that in perspective for you, a $300,000 house is going to cost you $75,000 out of pocket, at least with closing costs when you're buying it as a rental property, versus a property that's nearly $80,000 is going to cost you about $20,000 out of pocket. Think about that. Big, big, big difference. Guaranteed rents, okay? This is what attracts you to Section 8 more than anything, right? Today, I've been in the real estate business almost 10 years. I bought my first rental property, a duplex, almost 10 years ago, okay? In that length of time, I have bought every type of rental property you can imagine. I've bought high-end, I bought in middle of the road, and I bought in a whole lot of Section 8, not including the commercial stuff I bought, okay? The hardest part of being a landlord is collecting the rent. Don't let anyone else tell you differently. The hardest part is collecting the rent, right? This month we had 6 evictions. None of them are my Section 8 tenants. I do not have a problem collecting rent from Uncle Sam. When we are renting Section 8, you're essentially partnering with Uncle Sam, right? You and Uncle Sam right here. Let's see if we can Photoshop Uncle Sam around my arm right here, huh? That's us. We're business partners, okay? He's helping us collect that rent. It is a wonderful thing knowing that on the second business day of every single month, we're getting a direct deposit from the government. The government ain't running out of money for this program. I promise you that. Rent increases, okay? Let's talk about rent increases. Getting a out-of-pocket paying tenant to increase the amount of rent they're going to pay you each month is difficult. Here in America, people are broke. People live beyond their means. People buy a fancy car. People want to impress other people, so they don't have any money left, right? They're budgeting based off of what they have. Forget a budget. They don't even budget, okay? So getting people to pay you more is hard. I already told you that collecting rent is hard. Imagine trying to get more rent. It's hard. When these rental rates increase, right, the housing authority, the government will come out and say, hey, this year, actually, you can get more for a 4-bedroom. All we have to do is file some paperwork, and we will get granted a rent increase from Uncle Sam, okay? That alone will allow you to increase your bottom line net income every single year, because if that increases, your expenses aren't gonna change just because your rent went up. That increase is money in your pocket. Of course, unless you're paying a manager based off of your gross revenue, then I'm just only saying that because I know there's going to be a hater in the comments saying, oh, if your rent goes up, you're going to pay your manager more. No shit, Sherlock, but you're still going to end up with an increase in your net income. Rent increases are awesome. Now, I touched on this earlier, but another reason is the supply and demand. In the Section 8 space, there's this much demand. Typically, if you're in the right markets, this much supply. A lot of these tenants do not have options, which is a problem. They should have more options. You know, I hope more landlords offer their properties to voucher holder tenants. I really do. You know, there's enough, trust me, there's enough for all of us to eat in this program all across the country, okay? They don't have a lot of options, which allows you as a landlord to capitalize if you give them a good product. Again, I stress that because we really put an emphasis on the product we give our tenants. We want them to be happy. We want them to stay a long time. We want them to pick our property over all the other properties that are available to them, even though in a lot of instances, there aren't a lot of other options. Versus an out-of-pocket paying tenant can go wherever their heart desires. And technically, a Section 8 voucher holder should and could as well, but the reality is a lot of landlords don't accept vouchers. Right? Because of the misconceptions around this program. I hope you're a landlord watching this right now and that this is changing your outlook on it and you start accepting vouchers, because you'll end up wanting to only rent to voucher holders like myself. And lastly, this part of Section 8 housing is very much debated, okay? And I was one of these people as well that look at inspections as a con, okay? A lot of landlords say, I'm not dealing with those Section 8 inspections, all right? They're a nightmare. They're a headache. They come in at least once a year, right? They do. Are they annoying? Yes, they're annoying a lot of times. But, you know, I have properties that I bought and are not rented to voucher holder tenants or Section 8 tenants that I haven't been in years. And I guess I can take the blame for that, right? Because I could be going in there and inspecting on my own, but I don't, all right? Section 8 will come out with an inspector once a year. What is going wrong in this property? That window's broken. That toilet's broken. This is happening. That's happening. And although it's an added expense and an annoyance at times, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars of assets, or in my case, tens of millions of dollars in assets that we want to maintain. We want that property to be worth something, right? We don't want it to go to shit. So a built-in inspection, in my opinion, is a benefit to this program, right? You have the wrong mindset if you're thinking it's a headache. Right? You're a bad manager. You're a bad landlord. I'm looking at you that's saying, I don't want my property inspected once a year. You're a shitty landlord. It is what it is. You can own it, but I'm telling you right now, you are. Okay? I don't mind them because we take care of our properties. I want to know my property is being taken care of. And they're just giving us another set of eyes on the property to tell us if the tenant's fucking up. If the tenant's not taking care of our property, we can go to the housing authority and have them help us get them out. All these reasons and a lot more are why I prefer Section 8 rental properties over regular out-of-pocket paying rental properties. Go make some offers.